What's going on, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Welcoming you to the studio here in Waterford with another Friday Roundtable. We got so much to cover. So much it's going to probably bust my mind or something, but we're going to start with something that's a little more calm. Tyler Lavalette, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jake. We finally knew what the plans are for the Detroit Tigers and Redwings for the post-FanDuel Sports Network era. On Monday, they announced the launch of Detroit Sportsnet with it starting with the Tigers this upcoming end of the season of March when they play against San Diego, and the Wings coming in 26-27. They have a current subscription on with MLB's app, and it's $19.99 a month or around $190 per year. Now, I know that's pricey, and many of the other team-based .TV ones they did that MLB had only go to $100. But with the Red Wings factored in, you're paying more. It's going to be more for year-round programming, hence the idea of creating a sports network. You'll be able to watch Tigers games on the MLB app, no problem, in Detroit, in Michigan, and some parts of Indiana, northern Indiana, and Ohio, especially so if you're in Toledo, for example, you should be okay. Wings games, I'm not sure about, and as far as the plans for how you'll be able to watch the Red Wings, if you don't have cable, and we'll touch on cable in a little bit, I'll bring you up to speed on any plans in the summertime once the 25-26 season is over with, as FanDuel Sports Network is still airing Red Wings and Pistons games. Additionally, cable access will also be announced soon in due course. And if you subscribe now through the Detroit Sportsnet on the LB app, you will get access to the first 5 Tigers games through the end of March. That's 3 against the Padres and the first 2 against the Diamondbacks for free. Billing would start on April 1st. And like I said, no word on the Red Wings information at this time. The service does not include the currently aired Red Wings games as of right now because, like I said, FanDuel Sports Network is still winding down. So what does this mean about the Pistons, you're asking? To be determined. There's a possibility of the NBA launching their own in-market streaming service. They have talked with Amazon, YouTube, Apple, Disney about launching it for the 26-27 season, and something tells me the Pistons could go that route because, like I've mentioned, they have separate ownership. We'll just have to wait, and again, this is a wait-and-see situation. But for now, if you're a fan of the two Illich-owned teams, the Tigers and Red Wings, the long nightmare saga of the FanDuel Sports Network bankruptcy going back to early 2023, they're on the way. They're done for all intents and purposes. You're free. You can now watch the games on MLB.TV and look forward to some new MLB graphics for the Tigers.
To start things off, all right, so I knew Tyler was going to want to talk about kind of how things are progressing with both the Tigers and the Red Wings getting new media networks to broadcast their games. And first of all, Tyler, I want to thank you for clarifying this. When I saw this MLB to bring like Detroit Sports Network, and when I heard something about like, okay, not just the Tigers games, but potentially Red Wings games being on the network, I was like, I'm sorry, what? What? I thought this was baseball we were talking about. I got so confused.
Yes, well, here's like I said, Illich ownership. We knew about this back in February when it was announced that they were partnering with MLB local media. If I understand it correctly, the plan is for the Illiches to produce the Wings coverage in-house and have MLB distribute it. So we'll know more details in the summertime.
Absolutely. And first of all, once again, Tyler, thank you for clarifying that. Because
Anytime.
initially, I was like, what the heck? The MLB's going to, like, wait, no, this can't be right. The MLB's going to be covering the NHL or at least. So now that I know a little bit more, it's thanks to Tyler over here, it's a lot more clear. And hey, one brick at a time, one day at a time. Everything is coming into place, especially if you're a Detroit sports fan who was worried about not being able to watch these games. Everything is basically, all the bricks are falling into place. All the pieces, all the dominoes are falling. Hey, it's all good news. You are going to be able, you have a way to watch both the Tigers and the Red Wings. And like Tyler said, Pistons to be foreseen.
Absolutely. And this is, like I said, this is good news. And hey, you'll be able to still have the local announcing crews you come to know and love for the Tigers and Red Wings. Those do not change. When Jason Benetti was hired by the Tigers from the White Sox and prior to the 24 season, one of the things to note was he was not hired by Bally Sports Detroit. He was hired by the Detroit Tigers, as with Andy Dirks and Dan Petrie, and other reporters Daniela Bruce and Logan Reaver, who cover both the Tigers and Wings. They have good roles in place. Johnny Kane seems to have a good role in place with them as well. From when I was watching the Tigers game last Sunday, and Benetti mentioned his name. Jason Benetti mentioned his name. So, yeah, we were well planned for this going for years. And one thing I'd like to clarify: the Illiches had talks about doing a network going all the way back as far back as 2018, only to re-up with Fox Sports / Bally Sports / FanDuel Sports. Now, with FanDuel Sports Network going kaput, they're finally doing that, and the MLB is more than happy to come on board to help things out.
Yeah, I wanted to comment. It's really nice. It's actually really nice to see both the Illich family and the MLB negotiating with each other in terms of solving this funk in terms of like broadcasting rights. I'm really happy to see both sides working together. And Tyler mentioned this earlier, and this was running through my head. Even people in northern Indiana will have a way to watch the Tigers and the Red Wings.
I'm not sure about the Wings part. Okay. From what I've seen, the coverage map on the Tigers website, and the MLB website only mentions the coverage for the Tigers only. So they at least get that taken care of. Because, although I imagine they want to include Wings coverage in Toledo because of the walleye with the ECHL. The Tigers are well included in Toledo, thanks in large part to them having the Mud Hens who play next door to where the walleye play in downtown Toledo. So they got that all covered. Now, I'm sure some in Southwest, in northern, in South Bend area will be able to watch the Red Wings on cable and Comcast in Berrien County. So there's that workaround, because that's considered close to both because Benton Harbor and Sodus are considered more towards the South Bend and closer towards Chicago than they are Grand Rapids.
Then indeed, and plenty of Chicago fans around that area too, if I say so. So, hey, I'm going to say something, in terms of this whole thing, like I'm going to say something I have said before. This is it. The future of broadcasting is here. And for Detroit sports fans, whether you're a big Red Wings fan or a bigger Tigers fan, or you know what, you just love Detroit sports in general, you are staring down the future. And I know, and it's not cheap, but here it is. Here is your opportunity to pretty much watch as much of your Red Wings and your Detroit Tigers as you can. And once again, future to be determined for the Pistons. One brick at a time, one day at a time.
Yep. And and speaking of Jason Benetti, he is now the new head announcer for NBC's upcoming MLB coverage. He will start again with the Diamondbacks and Dodgers game. and they will be doing the analysts with a local analyst, color commentary from each of the two teams that are playing in that game. So with 3 Tigers games, he will be calling. What makes you think we could have stopping Andy Dirks from getting some national coverage opportunities in April and May? That'd be fun. And if you're like Jason and Andy, you wouldn't mind being able to have the opportunity to still hear those two calling a game. Sure, it'd be it's going to be neutral with a third person for the games against the Cardinals, Rangers, and Royals. But you still get to hear Jason. And a lot of the games he's going to be off now are on Sundays and not Saturdays. And he could also do other stuff for NBC as well, and especially in college basketball. But we'll see. He's done with Fox.
Let me ask you, all right, one final question for my man Tyler Lavalette before we switch gears. Are you potentially suggesting that these new broadcasting deals may pave the way for some broadcasting dream teams?
Well, you never know what could happen. I mean, and also there's a lot of big push going on as we get toward the end of the current TV contracts, as Manfred's talked about bundling more of the teams for local and national stuff. So we'll see how things go.
That we most certainly will. But, hey, broadcasting dream teams, one can only dream.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, as you guys know, I'm not an economist by any means, even in sports, but holy cow. Speaking of sports business, it's not just broadcasting deals that are going down. We got some gosh darn trade deals that are going on. Not just with Chicago, but Detroit is in the news too, with a whole lot of trades going across, starting with the NFL and the Detroit Lions. I'll let Tyler start this one off.
This
Holy cow.
hurts. David Montgomery is with Houston. He has been traded for a 5th-round pick and a center back as well. Additionally, Taylor Decker is demanding a trade as well, or to be released. We had just found this out earlier this afternoon. A long-standing piece of the Lions and a guy they drafted a couple years ago, gone.
Yeah, I will say that my thoughts on this are simple and to the point. This is a cap move when it comes to David Montgomery. Clearly, this is a cap move. The Lions are trying to get under the cap if they're over it at this point. And one of the only ways, sadly, that they were probably going to be able to get under the cap was they were going to have to trade a star like Montgomery. And sadly, that is, for you Detroit fans, that's the end of the Sonic and Knuckles duo.
I will never forget CBS cross-promoting Sonic 3 with him and Gibbs prior to the Lions Thanksgiving Day game they aired that year, as well as having Sonic and Knuckles mascots, very Sonic character mascots, at the Detroit parade prior as well. That was fun, seeing footage of Gibbs and Montgomery walking to the stadium with the caricatures of Sonic and Knuckles. That was awesome. Good job, Paramount.
And I will say, just like just like Sonic and Knuckles in the video games, hey, this Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery duo, that was one of the deadliest 1-2 punches in the NFL, especially for all the years that they had both of those two together. And
yeah, of course, fortunately, it seems like Monty wasn't used all that much these days, so I can understand why also they made the move.
Yeah, like I said, as I mentioned, cap issues, and honestly, it also kind of speaks to what the Detroit is looking to do. It looks like to me Detroit is trying they're trying to go younger on the running back core, or also they're trying to upgrade their offensive line, and they need to kind of shred some cap in order to get some offensive linemen who they might be looking at free agency, or maybe they're looking at guys in the draft that they can draft for their offensive line. So basically, this David Montgomery trade, it can go a lot of different ways for the Lions. I mean, depends on, who they get as Gibbs' backup, whether he's a guy they get in the draft or they get a backup from like another one of those teams in the NFL. And the offensive line, that's really the key thing here is the Lions coaching staff. Are they kind of more focused around the offensive line? And in order to upgrade that offensive line, was trading Montgomery necessary? So now if you're a fantasy football fan or if you love playing fantasy football, this boosts Jahmyr Gibbs' stock. I mean, he might end up being the number 1 draft pick in this upcoming fantasy football season. Like, come draft time for your fantasy football league, it would not shock me if Jahmyr Gibbs is goes number 1 overall. And in my league of all leagues, of course. Serious. That's literally the weirdest things, it can happen when pieces move around in the NFL, and pieces do move around in the NFL. So now with Montgomery, and Montgomery, I think his stock actually will go up in Houston because it would not surprise me if he ends up being their starting running back. And then with Jahmyr Gibbs, like I said, the thing is they could be relying a lot more on Gibbs as well in Detroit, and the risk for injury can go up there. But if you're a fantasy football fan, you kind of like it because that means they're going to be using Gibbs a lot more.
Yeah. But we got more trades to worry about, especially in hockey, right?
Yeah. Before we get to hockey in Chicago, of course, I'm just going to say that it wasn't just the Lions that have done a lot of business. The Bears also, they've been in the market too. So they just traded with the Buffalo Bills, and yesterday they traded DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills in exchange. So they traded DJ Moore. They also gave up a 5th-round pick, and if you're wondering what the Bears got in return, they got a 2nd-round pick, which now gives the Bears not 1 but 2 2nd-round picks this upcoming draft.
What about the first? What is their picking for the first round, barring any draft day shenanigans?
For the first round, I think the Bears are not on the clock until the 25th pick because of the success they had this season. And then it's the same thing with the 2nd round. It won't be until, I think, 57 and 60 where they will be drafting in the 2nd round, from what I understand.
Right. That answer that then.
Yep. So, much like the Montgomery trade, this is a cap move for the Chicago Bears. And a lot of people, they're ticked off, like, we're going to miss you, DJ Moore. And, like, we only got a 2nd-round pick when we could have. Hey, getting another 2nd-round pick is not a bad thing. And the Bears get to shed some cap. And here's the thing. I like DJ Moore. Going to miss him. But trading him means that Ryan Poles, the GM of the Chicago Bears, he's got all the confidence in the world in the pieces that the Bears have at wide receiver and tight end. They got some guys, young guys in the wing. You got Roma Dunze. You've also got Luther Burden III, who I think can step up. And last year, this was a guy that really stepped up for the Chicago Bears. Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end. He was pretty much at the very end of the year, he became Caleb Williams' favorite target.
Nice.
So if you're worried about this, I mean, okay, so that's one less weapon the Bears have, but that's also less cap problems, and that's a greater opportunity for the younger guys of the Chicago Bears to step up.
That it is. And to go back on Monty for a bit, when I told my mom about this, she was disappointed. She liked him. So, disappointed about the trade, that is, of course.
Yeah. And I was bummed. Like, we're all bummed to lose players, but the NFL and sports in general, it's a business. Things like this are going to happen. I still wish, I wish DJ Moore well, and I'm sure Lions fans, they wish David Montgomery very, very well. And both of them now. So now you got DJ Moore going to a contender in the Buffalo Bills, and of course Josh Allen, another weapon, and Houston, more firepower for Houston on offense. And their running game gets a lot stronger with David Montgomery.
Shall we talk about some hockey?
Sorry to keep you waiting on that, Tyler. All right, Tyler, let's shift to the hockey because holy crap, there's a whole lot of business going on there. I'll let Tyler begin there.
Yep, Ottawa sent, I think it was David Perron back to the Wings. He's injured right now, and the Wings gave up a pick as well. The Wings did some trades as well. But yeah, I think Perron, he's injured right now, but I expect he'll be okay, hopefully pretty soon in time for the playoff push. That's a big trade that surprised me as well, a lot. And I've seen they did one trade where for San Jose, they got a pick back, but flipped it to St. Louis in another trade. So to get rid of a draft pick is a bit insignificant there when you think about it.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. To help you Red Wing fans understand, okay, what's the purpose of all these trades? It's simple. The Red Wings are looking to make a playoff push. They're third in the Atlantic right now, and they look poised to make the playoffs. But getting the playoffs is not easy. When you're a team in playoff contention, you got to do whatever it takes to get to the postseason. And what Detroit is doing, trading for David Perron, and as Tyler mentioned, that draft pick that went to St. Louis. Look, what the Red Wings are doing is putting the pieces in place that they will need to make this push. Because Detroit is trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. I think the 15 and 16 season was the last time the Red Wings made the playoffs. They want to get back, and this team is more than good enough to get back and do some damage in the postseason. But got to get there first, and to get there right now, and with how tight this race is in the Atlantic, you need some pieces.
That you do.
And then, while the Red Wings... All right, Red Wing fans, your team's looking pretty good. But while the Red Wings are on their way to making the playoffs or look poised to make the playoffs, it's a whole different direction with the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, we're not making the playoffs. I didn't think we were going to do it. I think we really played out of our league in November. Like, we played way above our heads, especially that game that me and Tyler went to in Detroit. I think that was just a day where Chicago really just played out of their minds, especially Arvid Soderblom. But holy crap. The Blackhawks are definitely sellers at the trade deadline. Oh, my goodness. They are pretty much reeling in those draft picks. Let me give you a recap. So,
Run it.
Blackhawks traded Colton Dach and Jason Dickinson to the Edmonton Oilers for Andrew Magnet-Payne and a conditional 2027 first-round pick. So, a couple of pieces and draft picks for the Blackhawks, but also they're shipping out a lot of their veterans, and they've been doing a lot of business with the Edmonton Oilers. So it's not just Colton Dach or Jason Dickinson. They also, before then, they traded defenseman Connor Murphy to the Oilers for a 2028 second-round pick. That one shocked me because why would you want to trade a defenseman? That's Blackhawks. That's where we're weakest at. We need some frickin' defense. All right, I know Connor Murphy's 32 going on 33, but come on. We need all the help we can get defensively. Okay, now I'm really going to make you guys laugh. Oh, my goodness. And just today, this one happened just today. The Blackhawks have traded Nick Foligno to the Minnesota Wild for, I can't get this. I can't believe I'm saying this. For what is known as future considerations. So basically, for those of you who are confused about what future considerations it means, trust me, I was confused about it too. I had to look this up. Basically, future considerations is basically the lowest minimum you can offer when you want to trade for a player in the NHL. And future considerations, it could be anything from like a dinner to a bunch of golf balls, a bag of pucks, or even, you know what? In layman's terms, maybe the Blackhawks traded Nick Foligno for a bag of frickin' Doritos, for crying in a bucket. Oh my god! Literally, that's what future. Yep, that's what future considerations is. I'm not kidding. So basically, I learned this today in the NHL. You can trade a hockey player for almost anything. That's what future considerations mean. Or layman's terms, the Blackhawks traded Nick Foligno for absolutely nothing, or Lord knows what.
I mean, in baseball, we have cash considerations where you can trade a player for money. Mm-hmm. At least that has emphasis on what you can send. But future considerations, not having anything specific attached? Come on.
Honestly, this one, I mean, I should be mad about this trade, but I'm just laughing because now that I know exactly what future considerations really is. And you know what? It's kind of I think the Blackhawks also were doing a favor for Nick Foligno. I think he wanted to go to Minnesota and play with his brother Marcus, and that's what's actually going to happen. So
that's good.
The Foligno brothers are going to be on the same team, and a Minnesota Wild team that might be a contender in the Western Conference. They'll be strong there. Oh my goodness! So me and Tyler, we'll be talking about this future considerations thing for quite a while. So now, sports fans, feel free to speculate on what you can trade for in the NHL. You want a hockey you want someone to send you a hockey player? Just promise them a team dinner, or a bag of cheese puffs, or trade them for like Chick-fil-A gift cards or something. Like literally, you could speculate on. You could trade. Apparently, you could trade for almost anything in the NHL. Like you could give almost anything in the NHL just to get a hockey player.
Those of
Holy
you
cow.
on YouTube watching this and want to and have some ideas on what you think they're gonna send him, please leave your comments below.
Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless with this kind of trading. All right, sports fans, we hope you had as good of a laugh as me and Tyler did, speculating on what the heck the Blackhawks traded Nick Foligno for. It's called future considerations, but really it feels like a whole lot of nothing in hockey terms. That's where I'll leave this holy crap of a subject.
Yeah, I learned something new today as well, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if future considerations is good or not in my books, but hey, like I said, learn something new.
Yes, indeed. Hey, and sometimes you can even, to close it off, you can even think of future considerations as favors for one player or another. Send them out right now, however you want to put it. I almost forgot, sports fans. It's March. It's the 6th of March today. And by the way, best time of the year because it is March Madness. Let's play some basketball. What do you say, Tyler?
Yeah, we got the conference tournament starting up pretty soon with lower level tournaments, probably league tournaments going on as we speak, I imagine. And then you eventually get to the bigger, heavy hitting conferences that are going to send a lot of teams as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan go down and wins the Big Ten because they're not just content with winning the regular season championship, but getting that double bye.
Absolutely. And Michigan, right now, as I've said before, they look like the favorite right now to win it all. Of course, for the first time this season, they're facing some adversity. They lost their backup point guard to a season-ending ACL tear, which, gosh dang it, I hate it when that happens. But this is a very stacked Michigan team, and here's the thing. They've got some adversity, all right? They got some things they're going to have to figure out, like, okay, how do we play without our backup point guard? Because anytime you lose even a backup, it hurts kind of the chemistry of your team, and you have to rethink some things. But this Michigan team, the good news is they're very stacked. They got a lot of great players on that team. They still got they got their starters still playing together. So right now they're facing a little adversity, but this is a team. I would be shocked if this team at the very least is not able to make it to Indianapolis, all because of an injury to its backup point guard. But hey, anything can happen in the NCAA tournament. But it would shock me if Michigan doesn't make a deep run, or let alone, as Tyler said, win the Big Ten tournament, because that team is hungry right now, and they are stacked, and they are a mean basketball team in terms of offense and defense. They look good.
Yeah, they do, Jake. They're not. They're like you said. They're a team you really don't want to play. It's gonna be fun to worry about if they can make it deep run.
Yeah, like I said, the question mark will be like, how do they adapt without their backup point guard? But if I'm a team that makes it to March Madness, the last thing I want to, like Tyler said, I don't want to be in Michigan's side of the bracket right now, because as things stand right now, Michigan's probably going to get the number 1 overall seed, even if they don't win their tournament. And right now, they're a contrast compared to the Purdue Boilermakers, who have really, really driven me bonkers, like literally bonkers this season. I've talked about it in my Wax on Wednesday vlog. There's a whole nother level that I know this Purdue team is capable of going to, and just for one reason or another, they haven't gone to that level. I won't speculate too much more on that there, but this Purdue team, all right, they got the pieces in place. They made a Sweet 16 run last year. You got Braden Smith, you got Fletcher Lawyer, you got Trey Kaufman-Renn, you got quite a few good pieces. This team is good enough to at least make the second weekend, and they could potentially make a Final Four, but that all comes down to, can they come together at the right time? Can they build positive momentum? Can they focus? Can they focus and stay tough? That's what I want to see out of this Purdue team. If they can play tough basketball and stay focused, maybe they can make a Final Four run. But if I see more of like what I've been seeing from this Purdue team the last few weeks, might end up being a short stay in the NCAA tournament. Holy crap.
That would not be fun, or maybe even worse, first four exit.
Oh, gosh. No. You just had to remind me of FDU, didn't you, Tyler? You just had to make me think of Fairleigh Dickinson. Oh, that loss still kills me to this day. But, I mean, to be fair to you, Tyler, it wouldn't surprise me if we had like a round of 64 or a round of 32 loss. This Purdue team, when they're playing their best basketball, they can win any game. They can beat anyone out there, but when they're playing their worst basketball, they can literally lose to anyone out there. Not a joke.
I'm sorry that I made you groan there.
That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. It's fair, FDU. That's a part of Purdue's history. One other story I'm going to be keeping an eye on is the Miami Redhawks. Okay, this team, they're 30-0. Mm-hmm. They're the only undefeated team out there in basketball. They got a very big game tonight at Ohio. And I'm, by the way, in case I didn't clarify, Miami of Ohio. Because I know sometimes we get confused with Miami and Florida.
Yep, there's that. Yeah, it's not exactly easy. I mean, that's why they use the OH in brackets to distinguish.
Yeah. But here's the thing. That Miami's been on a roll this year. They've won all their games, and now they have the possibility of being 31-0 in the regular season. And yet, despite what they could accomplish, this is a Miami team that also could find themselves on the outside looking in come NCAA tournament time. They got to win They got to win this game. They got to beat Ohio tonight, because if you lose this game, you've got no choice but to go win the MAC tournament. And you know what? If you lose in the MAC tournament, then your chances of getting in the tournament are really like if they lose only one game, even if it's in the MAC tournament, their chances of getting in are going to be slim. But they'll still get some consideration. But you lose your last regular season game, it's pretty much a high possibility that this Miami team is going to miss the NCAA tournament. The pressure is on them big time. You think about it. The NCAA, they look at your resume. They want to see that you have quad one games. They want to see that you've played quad one teams. The big problem with this Miami team for as well as they play and as good of a team as they are this season, 0 quad one games.
Yikes. That is definitely concerning. Even if they go manage to win their tournament, there's some concerns there. It's not good at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It ramps the pressure up on this Miami team. They got to take care of business. Here's the thing: winning cures all. Mm-hmm. You win this regular season game. You go on and win the MAC tournament. You're in with ease, and you'll probably get a pretty good seed out of it too, based on the fact that you're undefeated. But if you lose at anyone, whether it's the final regular season game or you lose in the MAC tournament, there's a high probability you're even with how good your record's been, that you're probably not going to make it because due to your record and the lack of quad one games on your resume. Mm-hmm. Now, if you lose in the tournament, I think if Miami loses in their the MAC tournament, I think they still have a decent chance of getting in. But you lose before this final game at Ohio tonight, I don't think unless they win the MAC tournament, then there's no chance they get in, sadly.
Yeah, that's definitely not good if you're Miami.
Just got to focus up. Hey, just got to do what they've had a lot of close games. They've been tested as of late. They got strong willpower. As long as they win, they'll be fine. I hope they make it. I want to see them in because they deserve to be in based on the fact that they've gone undefeated most of the season. You fulfill the requirements. Here's the thing. The thing I believe is if you win your conference's regular season championship, you should be in. All right? That, especially for these smaller tournaments, that's how I believe it should be done, but that's not how the NCAA does it. And
right.
Like I said, NCAA doesn't give a hoot or holler about my opinion, for crying out loud. So
nope.
A couple other storylines I'll be keeping an eye on. Tyler mentioned the conference tournaments, of course. Who's going to win those? I mean, Michigan, to me, is probably the favorite to win the Big Ten tournament. I will say that. And Bid Theft's going to be keeping an eye on that. Battle for the number 1 seeds. I think Michigan's going to be the number 1 overall seed. Then you got teams like Duke and Arizona vying for those other number 1 seeds. The fourth one, that's the one that's mysterious to me. Do you give it to a team like UConn, who's been really strong all season? Does Houston maybe get it? Or do you consider a team like Illinois, who's had a lot of impressive wins and a high-powered offense? Or does Florida maybe sneak into the picture as a number 1 seed? Although I don't think they're going to be a number 1 seed. And here's the thing, regardless of whether or not Florida's seeding, that right now, Florida is the basketball team right now I do not want to see in the NCAA tournament because they are playing red-hot basketball right now.
Things are going to get very interesting pretty soon.
That's always the truth around what I like to believe is the most wonderful time of year because I'm biased. March Madness, man. It's so great, and I'm just hopeful we get a much more interesting tournament this year. That is my great hope. Hopefully we get some surprise seed that makes a Final Four. We don't want all number 1 seeds to get there, all right? That's just my opinion. Hoping for a much more, not only just a much more interesting, but a more pulse-pounding, heartfelt NCAA tournament. And with more highlights, even if it's not all like dunks or three-pointers or all that stuff. That's where I'll leave this subject.
Please, no March Sadness this year.
Indeed. All right, sports fans. First of all, before I shift gears to the golden moment, I just want to give a shout out to our Paralympians, the U.S. Paralympics organization. The Paralympics begin tonight in Milan and Cortina, and for a couple of days there'll be competition out there. I want to wish the United States Paralympic team all the best out there.
Mm-hmm. Good luck to all of them as well.
Mm-hmm. Go out there, represent Team USA with all your heart. That's all we ask. And I just want to, send my thoughts and prayers to the family of Lou Holtz, who passed away a couple days ago. Rest in peace, Lou Holtz.
Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Dr. Lou.
And with that being said, now we shift to our golden moment in sports. All right, I've talked out of my brain about March Madness, and we mentioned highlights, and sometimes we all need heroes in March Madness, and not all heroes in March Madness are on the court. Some are off the court doing things as simple as saving the basketball game, like these IU cheerleaders a few years back. Can we see the clip, please?
Let's get it. Yes,
we got a stuck basketball.
Get her up there. This is how
When something's that high up, build a tower. Like these IU cheerleaders, and she gets it down and saves the basketball game.
Good for them. Hard work when you least expect it.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, sports fans, there's a thing that me and Tyler, we love about March Madness. It's called One Shining Moment. This save by these IU cheerleaders actually made one shining moment in the year 2021, if I'm correct.
22, I think.
Yeah, 22. Correct.
Yeah, that's kind of a fitting to see it make it that. Sometimes the best highlights aren't those on the court. Sometimes, like Jake said, they're off it.
Yes, indeed. And also, almost forgot one more thing. Formula One starts this weekend. Got a lot of interesting storylines. Like, of course, we got a new number one, our driver, who's now a different driver wearing number one this year for Formula One.
Yep.
McLaren's
Lando Norris.
Yep, Lando Norris. He's wearing the number one. Can he defend the one? Max Verstappen, can he take the top spot? Who's going to be really fast? How's Cadillac going to do in their first year in Formula One? These are questions that we are faced with as a new F1 season starts.
Also, how does Apple TV do with integrating Formula One TV Pro's F1 TV coverage into their streaming? And what's going to happen with the races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia? Do those get replaced by races in Europe, or those races get canceled outright in the wake of the going-ons in that region with Iran? Time will tell.
All I can say is I hope whatever conflict is going, I hope that conflict out in Iran ends sooner than later. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, man. All right, sports fans, that's all we got for this week's Friday Roundtable. We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, and I want to give a special thanks to my man Tom Lavalette, who works his butt off to make this all possible, and a special thanks to Josh Whitney and everybody here in the studio. Thank you for your hard work. Follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube for more of these videos, and follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports on Facebook for similar content and sports news. And with that being said, me and Tyler, we are going to sign off for now. This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Wishing you all a good weekend, sports fans. Take care, everyone. Happy March.